Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Surviving Mars, playing at maximum difficulty with our own custom Cult of Pravus mod. And oh boy, have I been banging my head against a wall trying to get this mod to work as intended. It's not been playing nice, but we can talk more about that later. For now, let's take a quick snapshot of the colony. So over the last couple of videos, I think we've got ourselves to a very, very good spot. Life support is fine. We are now self-sufficient on refined materials, which is a huge milestone. We're getting our specialists, which are working as intended, by the way. And the only thing that really could mess me up in the future is probably going to be a lack of metals and concrete as we exhaust our local supplies. That's about it though, and I think we will be able to fix that. So the immediate issue remains our population, which as of the last video, I think we're just now starting to turn a bend, and we're going to see this going up pretty significantly in time. I'm hoping to get up to about 50 colonists by the time we hit Sol 120. Which I think is very doable. That's going to get a lot faster once we do a couple of things. One, we're going to be building out a medium dome over here, and by the way, let's just go ahead and outsource for a bit more science. I want to speed this up. Getting a medium dome over here with a vista means we can have a lot of population concentrated in one area, lots of opportunities for people to pair up and have children, and the vista gives us a nice comfort bonus for a huge percentage of my colony. Yes, we're going to have to worry about the rebel yell. That is a thing. But, you know, we'll be able to deal with that, and if I have to vent them into space, I can do that. The other thing that's going to be amazing for us is actually the STEM reconstruction tech, because STEM reconstruction is going to delay retirement, but really what it does is it prevents people from moving to the middle-aged group to the senior group for a bit longer. And here's the thing, middle-aged people, they work longer. That's great. What else can middle-aged people do? That's right, have babies. So technically, this tech is not only going to give me extra years of productivity with my colonists before they get old and die, but also more opportunities to have children. And that is going to solve a lot of my problems. Phenomenal tech, cannot understate how good it is. Yes, by the way, I'm aware that for whatever reason we have the Holy Dome event. I just reloaded my save and it popped right up. Don't know how that happened, but there you go. It is appropriate, though. With the further expansion of the colony, there's a petition to proclaim Mars a holy land. Now, normally you'd probably want to go down secularism, but it really depends on how much of your colony is going to be religious. I wish it kind of told you, because otherwise you have no idea which one's good. If you have a lot of people religious, though, this gives you a pretty nice morale boost. Everyone else is upset, and vice versa. Or you could create an atheistic state, which is just... I don't know why you do this. There's like nothing good about this one at all. For roleplay reasons, though, we're going to say this is a great idea. Let's go ahead and do it. It's probably the right call anyway. I have a school that is training children to have the religious trait anyway. So like, over the long run, this is good for us. Yes, by the way, I am still getting funding twice a day instead of once a day. We've been trying to figure it out, and some people left some very helpful comments and some DMs recommending a couple of different things, including, for example, setting up a custom story bit, like an event, to force the internal game value to change, because it looks like it is a known issue, where if you start a game with the mod, with certain internal values, then change the mod, it doesn't change the internal values, which is where I'm getting messed up. The hope was that this was going to solve it. I've tried that a couple of different ways, and so far it still has not worked. So either I'm doing it wrong, and I just need to keep troubleshooting it, and I will keep playing with it, or maybe because I set it as a game value instead of a constant, one can be overridden and changed and the other cannot. I'm not sure. That's kind of where I'm thinking we are stuck. I mean, we've got to work around. It's going to be okay, and it would be fixed for anyone who starts a new game. So this is just how it's going to be for a little bit. There are other weird issues, though. So, for example, I've got an event that I wrote into this mod, a special custom story bit called Heresy in Our Ranks, and you can kind of get an idea exactly how that is supposed to work. And it's interesting because I can get the text to properly show up, right? The event seems to follow the exact path it's supposed to, but something is supposed to happen to a particular colonist. And for whatever reason, that's not going to fire off. And it appears that I'm not picking a colonist correctly with the right parameters. But when I do, it gives me an error mode saying there's like a floating Boolean error or something like that. It's just bizarre. I don't know. Some of it's just that I'm not a programmer. So this is where working with people who are a lot smarter than me is certainly quite helpful. But part of the issue is I actually think this game is not coded to make things necessarily easy. If you know what you're doing, you can figure it out. If you're a layman like me, it's like trying to learn a whole new language, and I mean that literally, but at the same time, someone is yelling in your ear, so it's hard to pay attention in class. I'm not trying to complain and whine about this, by the way. I understood that this was going to be difficult when I picked it up. I just want you all to understand how much I love you guys and the series and the support you've shown, and I'm trying really hard to find a way to make this all work. Anyway, medium dome is now an option for us. All right, let's go ahead and plan this sucker out. So I definitely want to take advantage of the vista. So something like this is probably as far away as I dare make it from the rest of the other domes. This would do the job. What will be annoying is changing up my passages so that I have 3 passages going to all the different domes and letting this be the center of operations. There is a way around this with something that I pretty much never use, but today we're going to try, and that is the passenger hub, a connection point where I can have passages to this area, and then people have free access to all the domes with no problems. The main reason I've never used these in the past is because they do take up a little bit of extra oxygen and water in order to operate, which usually kind of sucks. But, I mean, in this case, if it's going to make it so I only need 1 passage out of this medium dome, so I'm not taking up any of these valuable little triangles of real estate and breaking things up like I have over here, and all 4 of these domes can kind of intermingle completely, that's not a bad thing, honestly. I probably should be using these more often. New anomaly. Oh, a breakthrough. Come on, give daddy something good. And there's our medium dome. We do need to rename this. This time around, the winner of the draft is Corix. Thank you for your support. And our breakthrough we have received is Capture Asteroid. Wait, really? What is this one? Hang on. Landing an asteroid lander on the asteroid captures the asteroid in orbit of Mars and removes the time limit. Well, that's interesting. Huh. I might actually have a good use for this. See, asteroids can be great in that it is one of the best ways to continue bringing new resources to Mars, right? When you've exhausted all of the metals and other resources, that is something that you can use. The problem is, 1, I don't usually need it. I win the game long before I care about all of that. But 2, the odds of a human error and just forgetting about the asteroid and then it leaves and you lose all of your equipment, that was way too high. But with this technology, I don't know. Now asteroids feel like a very low-risk option. Maybe it's worth it. I don't know. We'll play that one by ear. This might actually be an asteroid game, which is something I don't usually get to do. All right, so in the medium dome, before we move anybody in, we might as well go ahead and start getting things set up. This will ultimately end up being a very dense population dome, so it's going to have a lot of apartments and stuff in it. We don't have that researched, and for now I don't need it, but eventually that will be the goal. If these passages work as intended, by the way, I shouldn't need to relocate all of my amenities yet. That is probably something I will end up doing, but for now, it shouldn't be too bad. That said, we can still add in things that we're currently missing, like a gym. I will also need to get myself a security station at some point, because we will have renegades in this dome. This is an inevitability. Officers are supposed to be the way that you counter them. To be fair, they're not very good at their jobs, but it's kind of my only option. Okay, we just need to get this passage set up, and the dome will be ready for business. There we go. Another anomaly found, way down over here. Oh my gosh. Sooner or later, we're gonna get something that's useful, like, now, right? I mean, some of these anomalies, like, they are good, all right? I'm not gonna complain about most of these breakthroughs. I don't think we've had one that's outright useless, but most of them are things that are only really good in the mid and late game, and we're still kind of in the early setup stages. I'd really like something that helps give me an advantage, like, now. Anyway, let's go ahead and get rid of the extra Temple of Pravus. This thing has served me well for a while, but now that this thing is set up, this is going to be my more long-term solution, so I want to make sure that as many people are working over here as possible. And I'm assuming that we're not going to see anything break down over here, as far as, like, jobs and everything else. That is something I'm very concerned about. Remember, one of our game rules is that people are not willing to walk a very long distance to get to something. You'll have to use trains. But I think that our domes are right now all kind of enough in range of each other that that's not an issue. It certainly seems like that might be the case. So, yeah, hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. And here comes the dust storm. And we don't have enough power to go around. Of course we don't. We also have a missing rover. Really? We lost contact with Explorer number 2. That's fine, I can triangulate it using my sensor towers. Lucky I had those. I'm afraid I might have lost some drones and stuff if I hadn't done that. Wait, no, I actually don't know where it is. Hold on, it's actually gone. You know, the rover was, like, right here. You know that, right? Where could it possibly have gone? Well, hopefully we get a follow-on event there, because that actually sucks. Breakthrough, we got core metals. Extremely rich underground metal deposits. Again, that is good. In the long run, it is not helpful right now. There it is, found it, and we have to send some drones to repair it. Great. How the heck did you get all the way over here? Again, You were right here. It doesn't make sense. Fortunately, this is actually a good event for us because we just got 5,000 science from this rover, which is enough to finish STEM reconstruction. It's not going to take people who are currently senior and move them back, but it does mean I'm going to have a lot more time with my middle-aged people. So it's going to take a while to see the fruits of this labor, but it's going to be amazing, I promise. We also get a pretty nice head start on Martian-born adaptability. That saved us a lot of time, actually. And yeah, the faster that people graduate from the universities and stuff, the better. And yes, let's not forget, as before, I need to delete some money every 10 souls. Blech. Oh good, and now we have a meteor shower to worry about. Oh, joy of joys. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna start working on some new concrete extraction since we're starting to run low. This deposit should keep me going for a while. We'll need to think about getting some metal mining here pretty soon too, but our population has grown a bit. We're up to 41. 50 or so by Sol 120 might be pushing it. I'm not going to say it's impossible, though. Oh, whoops. We did actually run out of water during this dust storm. That's with 3 of these medium water towers. We are draining this stuff fast now, man. I knew that might happen once we got ourselves another dome here, but, woof. It's fine. We only have to survive for a little bit longer, and then we're going to have to deal with the dehydration. The planet, by the way, is warming up quite nicely. We're almost up to 15%. I think 25% is the milestone where we can start having liquid water on the planet. Not that that does me a ton of good right now, but it should lessen the impact of the cold waves a little bit, and that would be a relief. One thing that does confuse me is that I don't have enough water to go around. We did before the storm hit, didn't we? I thought we did. Well, it's fine. We don't have to refine quite this much fuel. We'll be all right. So how long does it take for my people to graduate from university now, by the way? Like 2 souls instead of 5? Maybe 3 souls? It's something along those lines. It's very helpful. And here comes the cold wave. We were just talking about you. Oh, great. I don't have a lot of time to rebuild my oxygen and my water supply. I think we may have no choice but to go for another underground water deposit. And we should do that immediately, because I need to extract as much as I can. And actually, right, we're gonna have problems here with this subsurface heaters. We don't have one that can reach this medium dome. Ah, nuts. If I were to rebuild this subsurface heater, can I relocate it kind of in the middle over here and reach both of these domes? The answer is barely yes. It's gonna cost a ridiculous amount of power, but barely yes. Okay. Basically, it's a choice between having 2 separate subsurface heaters with smaller ranges and saving on power, but costing me twice as much water, or vice versa. And at this point, I think I'd rather save the water. Population is slowly crawling up. We're up to 43 now. And we're going to see a much larger distribution shift toward the adult and middle-aged categories, but that's fine. As long as we don't have too many seniors, that's fine. And we barely... Nope, no longer have enough power to make this work. It was good while it lasted. We can fix that to a degree. Turn off buildings you no longer feel like you need, such as this fuel stuff. And anything that's out here, for example, as long as you work 1 shift per soul, you'll be okay. If you at some point have a building out here that is not working at all, it will just freeze up. But as long as you've had 1 shift per soul, it won't freeze up. Another problematic Moxie. Oh, good. Thank you. All right. Power consumption increased. That sucks. It's probably better to pay the extra heating cost than to spend all the metals, and definitely not spending the polymers. Now, that's just ridiculous. Well, that bites. I can't believe these cold waves are somehow still lasting longer than 6 souls, by the way. I mean, we're increasing the temperature of the planet. Shouldn't it be getting, better? Do I just have no idea how climate change works? I mean, yeah, I know. Like, literally, hotter hots and then colder colds and stuff like that. But I would have thought that this was just an improvement over a freaking heatless void. Oh, God, we are not charging our batteries quite fast enough to last throughout the nights here, are we? No, sir, we are not. Oh, okay. When you're in these situations, it's alright, don't panic. Just find anything you can turn off at night. Save some power. For example, I probably don't need to be spending this much power on the machine parts factory at night. And that alone solves my problem, thank you. We did finish up with the Martian Institute of Science, by the way. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and demolish this research lab now. We might as well. I mean, I guess I didn't have to do that, but we're just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm not gonna have anyone work here at all. Why pay the maintenance cost on it? You get more scientific value per scientist, I think, out of having a Hawking Institute instead. So this just seems like the objectively better choice. Sure, it costs me a lot of electronics and stuff, but again, this is the reason we've been trying to make ourselves self-sufficient, so we can build these things without any guilt. Here we go. Alrighty, let's go ahead and bring a bunch of scientists to work over here. And so far, that's going to be consistently worth about 700 science per soul, going up as more people get assigned. And we now have, like, tons of space for more scientists. And I got a bunch of students in college who are trying to figure out what to do with their lives. May I recommend working at the new and improved Hawking Institute? The Cult of Pravus supports the scientific method, especially if I can capitalize on it in some way and make a profit. I'm going to change a couple of things up over in our colony, though, by the way. Let's go ahead and change up things like our electronics factories and our machine parts and everything being manufactured over here in Quebec. I've decided this is now going to be my industrial hub. All of my engineers are going to live here. Alpha will end up becoming a mining dome. It just makes sense. It's in range of both the underground rare metals and the regular metals. And then obviously, Mac needs to be my research dome. And Corix will have everything else for now. Sol 122 and our population's up to 46, by the way. So I was off. Not by a ridiculous amount, but I was off. Yeah, see, now I've got quite a few scientists. We got 11 in the colony in total, giving me 1,100 research per soul. That makes a huge difference. We do have an emergency on the way here, though. I need to get some metals extracting, and I need to do that now. Why? Because I'm running out rapidly. The amount of consumption and maintenance we've been doing on things like machine parts and stuff, it's really coming back to bite me. Might even want to consider pulling back on our production of machine parts for a while. Fortunately, I have some spare geologists that should be able to start working here immediately. And we should be able to start producing about 7 or so metals per soul. That is not enough just to meet my consumption. Well, it's barely enough to meet my consumption. Not enough to meet my maintenance needs, though. I'm going to scavenge whatever else I can from the surface of the planet, but, yeah, remember how I said this was a long-term problem and I'm not worried about it? Yeah, now I'm worried about it. It only took like another 20 souls. We did get water conservation done, though. That should reduce my water consumption in a dome by 50%. So that solves a lot of water issues going forward. We have access to the apartments now. All right. I think it's time to go ahead and start building for population density. They're not the most comfortable things. That's the problem with the apartments. The comfort rating is lower than a regular residence, which does ultimately hurt some of your baby-making potential, though we should be able to improve that a little bit once we get things like Home Collective, which I haven't discovered yet, I don't think. Or, wait, there it is right there, actually. Oh, well, see, there we go. Hey, remember we were having problems with our Moxie? Turns out somebody did a little bit of their homework and found the problem. Now we can get Moxie 2.0 technology, which removes all design flaws and increases air production. Nice. Not that I need more air production or anything, but you get the idea. Ooh, the triboelectric scrubbers have been discovered. This would help massively with my economy. Yeah, I now think that might be a top priority for us. 13,000 science is kind of a lot. I acknowledge this. Here's what it does, though. Everything in its radius no longer has to worry about maintenance. You have to pay maintenance on the tower itself. That's just like a couple of electronics here and there. But it would save me so many metals on so many buildings. Like, it would be phenomenal if we could get some of those up and a-running. Just outright eliminate so many problems with your economy. Metal production is looking a lot healthier now, by the way. 5 geologists got us there, 15.6 per soul. Plus whatever scavenging I'm doing right now, yeah, we're at least getting a bit of a profit here. Still pretty low on our concrete, though. This does make me a little nervous. We're about to finish scanning the surface of this sector of Mars, by the way. We have deep scanning technology available now, so let's go ahead and start looking around our immediate vicinity, find out if there are any deep deposits that we could extract that would make my life a bit easier. And in the meantime, I really have nothing to do with my Gimli rocket. It's like no projects that I care about out here on the planet. I guess we could set up a high-speed comm satellite. Yeah, 100 electronics is a bit steep, though. Capture some meteors, try to get some materials, or we could launch a satellite to get $2 billion. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll just go ahead and start sending some metals back to Earth and just keep the outsourcing going. Science is going to get us out of this pickle. We have achieved a milestone. Scanning all sectors gets me 2,500 extra science. Good. Get me that turboelectric scrubber, dang it. Oh, and 2 new planetary anomalies were just found. Anything I can use? Some resources. Engineers for research progress. I could totally do that one. Yeah, Gimli, forget delivering the rare metals back to Earth. We have a new mission. Like, if this gets me an extra, what, 2,000 science or something and helps me finish off the scrubber, boom. Absolutely worth it. Hello! We found some deep metals nearby. Okay, good to know. We actually would be able to mine these just from where we are over here in the Corix Dome. So if we need to, there's a new source. That's great. And how much science do I get for this? That was enough. Oh, thank you, engineers. You've done something useful. All right, these guys don't have absolutely massive ranges unless you invest pretty heavily in them. But simply by placing in a couple of areas that I've deliberately left open so we can easily fit in some scrubbers, we're going to save ourselves so many resources. Like, I kid you not, this is going to be amazing for us. Because I can take this sucker, and I can boost up its area, and sure, it costs me more power, but at the cost of only 1 electronic in maintenance, I effectively just eliminated maintenance costs for everything in this area. Huge! That means I don't have to worry about spending all the machine parts. It means I don't have to worry about the metals. It means so many things. This is great. Now I don't have to worry about spending any maintenance on my fuel refineries, all of these turbines. It's amazing. Hey, look, we also can now have liquid water on the surface of Mars. Okay, clearly we are making some progress here. We also now have the atomic accumulator, which means I can start storing massive amounts of power. Ooh, an upgrade for the Hawking Institute. Yeah. A little expensive right now, but it is good. I feel like the Home Collective might be better, though, just for more population growth. I'm gonna go ahead and do something now that's gonna really ramp up our birth. I'm gonna place down an art store. It's one of the best buildings in the game for this. Consumes a stupid amount of polymers. So you don't want to have too many shifts at a time, but if you can get this sucker up, 80 comfort rating is really good. Actually, looks like 84. So it's equivalent, if not better, than my Temple of Pravus at this point. And apparently it just encourages people to get it on. So, yeah, worth. It also fulfills shopping needs in an objectively better way than the grocer does. So why have a grocer getting 50 comfort if you can have an art store getting 80? And the reason why, again, is the polymers. But as long as you got those to go, which right now we do, that's totally worth it. Oh gosh, I'm still not satisfied with our birth rate. It's just not good enough, and I really want to avoid the rebel yell. Okay, one thing we could do. The easiest way that we would solve this, honestly, is if we just executed all of our seniors, which sounds awful and shocking. If you've never seen me do this before, you may be thrown for a bit of a loop there. This would not be the first time. But, if we had effectively an old folks' home, right, and sent the seniors elsewhere, then we could at least free up space to have my fertile couples all where I need them to be, and the old and crusty people far away. I think we're going to try doing that, because right now we have 16 people in the medium dome, and I can't allow that. That's just too many. Although, actually, I need to place this in range of my heater over here, or else that's going to be a problem. Yeah, this would do just fine. Actually, we should make this a microdome. Then, all of a sudden, this becomes very affordable. Yeah, that's going to be the way to go. It's just not a very efficient use of concrete. That's kind of the problem that I have with it. But the problem is, really, my seniors are taking up a bunch of space in domes where young and fertile couples could be meeting and having lots of kids where I have the high comfort rating, like in Corix right now. But there's so many seniors sitting here, because I wanted to have them not taking up any of the spaces next to the actual jobs, that it's preventing that from happening. So by shipping them somewhere out of sight, out of mind, I think we solve some problems. And we don't need a lot of space. That's why the microdome is actually a perfect solution here. I've really been paying the price for not killing off my seniors sooner in this game, to be honest. Which I know sounds atrocious. Again, if you've never seen me play this, you don't know what you're missing. But seriously, though, like, I could have sent them all off to die a long time ago. I still will have to do that with the Renegades, most likely. But I'm trying really hard to play as the good guy this time around, right? You know? Not just sending the seniors off to pasture? But man, it's making the game harder. I didn't realize how much of a handicap that really was. You know another thing that I think is actually messing with my ability to keep my comfort rating high? It's actually my infirmary. Service comfort of only 40. Now the thing is, I've got everyone working overtime shifts. For good reason, but it does reduce their health, which means they have to go to the infirmary fairly often, and that means the only service comfort they're getting is not great. It might be worth researching the microgravity medicine spire, just so I can have a more effective method of treating people. Well, in the meantime, we got our research amplification, which means we can now get 50% extra production on my science. Obviously, this is going to speed up quite a lot of things. Oh my god, we finally hit 50 population. A bit later than I expected, for sure. Good god. I actually don't remember having quite this many problems with getting my population numbers up. Like, I would happily turn on the apartments and move everyone here. But with the Rebel Yell being what it is, I'd have to have a replacement of at least one new birth per soul just to keep up with that. Which right now, I don't have. But like, clearly something's working because all of a sudden I'm up to 7 children. So the micromanagement I'm doing is working, and this is about to get even better. Home Collective, here we go. I am going to try getting that microgravity medicine stuff. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if getting rid of infirmary helps and get a proper hospital up and running. I mean, I suppose the other option is we do have an actual hospital, right? We haven't researched that, though. Oh, that's the unofficial content mod, isn't it? No? Well, maybe not. Okay, hang on. Somewhere down here there must be a tech... Oh, there's the one I'm looking for. Medical Center, increase the birth rate in a dome. Yep, 20,000 science is a lot, but that would help. So I need emergency training as a technology to unlock this? Where the heck do I get that? Oh, it's this down here, right. Security officers and medics have extra performance when working their specialty. Makes sense. But this has a service comfort rating of 100. So, like, yes, this should help a lot. Holy crud. Did we actually... Oh my gosh, hang on. We've deep scanned 30 sectors. Have we? I guess we have. All right, 50% boost in the price of rare metals. All of a sudden, rare metals just became worth a lot more. Now we'll get like $900 million every trip back to Earth. That's huge. Yeah, my comfort rating in the Corix Dome is now up to 89. That's more than enough for a population replacement rate. In fact, all of my domes are looking pretty solid now. There goes the last of the concrete in this area. Okay, so we've well and truly exhausted this. Gotta be careful about that, because this could sneak up on you pretty quickly. Worst come to worst, I know there are more deposits out here, they're just on the permafrost. And that means it'll take like 2 times more power in order to set those up. Still, very doable. We are officially reaching our population capacity here, by the way. So unless I plan on building out more domes, I think now is the time to go ahead and bite the bullet. Let's go ahead and open up the apartments. Another round of meteors, another round of cold waves, it just keeps going. Oh, frozen batteries cause cable faults. Can that even happen, actually? If I've got the superior cables, is this even possible? Let's give it a go. What happens? Absolutely nothing. Silly cold wave thought they could break my cables. They were wrong. And by the way, holographic scanning is about to be done. That is 20,000 science invested in order to get myself another upgrade for my medical center. Increase the birth rate in the dome. Now granted, this is not a high population dome. In a lot of ways, it'd be better to have that in my medium dome if that's where I'm going to be placing people, but this'll be fine. Holy crap, another breakthrough tech. I've been wondering if we're going to find any more this entire game. Turns out the answer is yes. We discover multi-spiral architecture. The oval dome. 2 spires. I have not built an oval dome in a very, very long time. That would be fun. Then you can take advantage of things like the medical center, plus, I don't know, water reclamation, hanging gardens, something else. Just get ridiculous amounts of comfort. And the cold wave has passed. All right. Definitely reaching the stage of the game where I'm not even thinking about the natural disasters. I'm only looking forward to how we can keep growing our economy. I think we also just finished another milestone. 50 Martian-born specialists, 10,000 more science. All right. Progress. All right, so only one thing remains. Have 500 colonists on Mars. At the rate that's going right now, that's going to be a little on the slow side now, ain't it? But the cool thing is, now I have some meteor defenses. So if I need to place a few of these to protect some key areas, I can and I will. Another breakthrough. Oh my god, is it my birthday? Dome streamlining. Domes cost half of the resources. Uh-huh. Well, that could get kind of fancy. Again, it doesn't exactly help me right now, though. Man, this is just the weirdest game for breakthroughs. Usually I have at least one or two that are game-changing. You know, something like, hey, you don't need to have any workers at any of your extraction facilities, or anything along those lines, but no. Got access to a new useful spire. That's going to be the network node. Kind of expensive, honestly, but boosts all of the research buildings. So if I'm going to have like 2 or 3 Hawking Institutes in here, yeah, this is just great. And we can also get another spire, the Sanatorium, which will be a way of removing any of the negative perks that should be in our colony, though I'm hoping there won't be very many. I have also now researched the ability to craft my own lakes for terraforming. Now, I'm probably not going to do much with this for a while, because it does take a ton, and I mean a ton, of water to keep these things up and running. Still, wouldn't do any harm to go ahead and just, like, place these down, think about where they're gonna go. And if we ever did have enough water to spare, I wouldn't mind raising up the moisture levels on Mars, just to get rid of those gosh dang dust devils. And with the landscaping nanites research, this gets easier than ever. I definitely feel like we are ramping up rapidly right now. My population has jumped up to almost 80, and I am plowing through a lot of these sciences now. What previously seemed very out of reach is in fact very plausible. Ooh, moisture vaporators, get a whole load of these suckers. And actually, yeah, we would be able to start filling up some lakes. It would still take a while, but we could. Especially because these actually get more and more productive the more moisture is on the planet. So, technically speaking, use the moisture vaporators to plant down lakes to get more water to therefore get more water. It kind of works. I don't know. It's still kind of a lofty goal. Question, can I finally go to Project Rain here? 5 botanists? I think I've got 5 botanists. Let's see what happens. Oh, shoot. I remember this event. We don't really want to mess with this. Basically, we found what appears to be some sort of mysterious black site, and we could approach the facility and investigate, but if I recall correctly, the vast majority of the time, you will discover a really good breakthrough, but like 10 of your colonists will die, and a bunch will get injured, and some buildings will blow up back at home. So it's pretty terrible. We could leave the site and upload its coordinates. I'm pretty sure something bad can still happen here, but maybe we can get some money. Or we could just leave and say, nope, 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 nope. I'm going to try leaving the site, but I expect we're going to get approached. Yep, there it is. Approached by a black silhouette. You made a huge mess. Now, if we say we don't like being threatened, then we have all the negative events and none of the breakthroughs. That is to say, people die and we got nothing out of it. I'm going to organize a cleanup immediately. Return to the coordinates. Upon completion, you receive $250 million in funding. Woo. Like, yeah. Not a great planetary anomaly. Not great at all. At this point, we have managed to reveal all the techs in the engineering and robotics trees, so we made solid progress there. I've got some factory AIs up and running, which means my production is boosting up by another 20%. We've even unlocked the ability to place down some shuttles, which means if I ever do need to place some faraway domes, life's going to be a lot easier now. One thing I'd really like to do is start working on some atmospheric terraforming, but we still haven't found the gosh dang carbonate processor. So I can't do that. Still, we're finally seeing some dividends from our extra heat on the planet. The cold waves are not lasting nearly as long as they did before. In fact, they're actually down to about half effectiveness, at least this time around. I don't know if they'll stay that way. But that saves me from some pretty massive headaches. We're producing more machine parts and polymers than I know what to do with. Oh, there's the carbonate processor tech, finally. Oh my gosh. Never made sense to me that it's so far down the tree. I can't do anything to actually, like, retain or build up atmosphere. Like, why isn't this an early tech? This is, like, the first step. Okay, and now we have access to, I think, every single tech except for the terraforming and recon trees, which are pretty low priority anyway. We are hitting Sol 200 now, and we have a dispute event. Why on earth would I... Both roles are important. Why on earth am I playing off the scientists and the engineers together? Ridiculous. I'm sure they're angry I didn't pick a side, but frankly, I don't care. Alright, so, we're now to 86 population. Pretty decent. Next video, I can just about guarantee we are going to have the mystery fire. It does hit once you have 100 population. And we're about ready to take that on, I think. Overall, I'd say we're looking pretty good here. Yeah, we're low on concrete. I'm fixing that, no problem. Otherwise, though, like, we're about as ready to deal with the mystery event as we ever are going to be. And if I recall correctly, it's going to require a lot of farming as we do some curing for Earth. But we'll come back to that one later. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.